guys, I'm Sage Valentine, and right now I'm going to review CBS's Big Brother Season 18, Episode number 20, so let's just get down to it. This morning on the feeds, something crazy happened. Zakia just wanted to have a conversation with Paulie, and that conversation went straight to hell once Paulie started to gaslight her. For those of you that don't understand what gaslighting is, it's basically a conversation. Like if I'm having a conversation with this comb, okay? And I'm telling the comb I'm mad at the comb because it tangled my hair, and the comb shoots back, well, maybe if you combed your hair more, you wouldn't have tangles. And I'm telling the comb, why do you have such an attitude with me? I don't have an attitude. It seems like you're upset. You're doing something wrong. Got it? That's gaslighting. It's better if CBS airs a part of that argument for you guys who don't have the feeds, because I can't convey the nasty tone that Paulie had while speaking to Zakia. And the thing about it is that he spoke to her that way just to have a reason to get rid of her, because he's been looking for a reason to get rid of Zakia. This is why I don't like showmances, because the women get hurt. Some guys do, but for the most part, it's the women. And they end up breaking down and crying or being embarrassed on national television and up for scrutiny. I mean, Zakia did say when she was going in the house that she wanted to get into a showmance. And Davon tried to warn her about Paulie, but Zakia was basically like linked to Paulie by then. And I honestly don't think that she fathomed that she would end up in the situation that she ended up in last night, which is just one argument out of many that she's had with Paulie. And it seemed like Paulie became even more nasty every time they argued, and she just kept running back. And Evil Dick was on Twitter today, and he was talking about how Zakia, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but Zakia was basically showing signs of being a battered woman in that situation with Paulie, particularly the one that was shown on or during the episode. The only thing was that she wasn't being beaten physically. She was being beaten emotionally and pretty much verbally, without saying too many nasty things. You can only imagine what he would have said to her if the cameras weren't there. And I think the worst part of that situation happened after all was said and done, and Zakia had kind of calmed down a little bit, and Paulie told her, you know what, when you get out of the house, don't listen to what the fans say, because the fans tend to twist situations around. And in other words, he was basically telling her, don't listen to us, because we're basically going to lie to try to get her away from him. When in actuality, we the viewers, especially the people who watch the feeds, saw how everything went down. We have a unique perspective. Even though we are not playing the game, we still can convey what happened from what we saw. And even though everybody has a different perspective, as far as each watcher or each viewer, we all, except for a few, came to the same conclusion that when this show is over, Zakia needs to say bye-bye to Paulie, because that relationship is not healthy at all. The people in the house truly underestimate Davon, because she put two and two together the moment that Paulie was revealed to be the pawn on the block next to Bridget. And Davon went out of her way to try to help Bridget and tell her that Bridget should get Paul to put Nicole up as a replacement nominee when Paul goes down, right? But Bridget's on this whole, I don't trust you, Davon. In fact, I don't trust anybody in the house, because everybody had a hand in getting Frank out of the house, and I'm angry about that. Paul manages to sweet talk Bridget by basically telling her not to worry because Day's going home, but in actuality, he honestly doesn't care who goes home, because if Day stays, then Bridget's gone, and if Day goes, then he has Bridget as a number. That's pretty much Paul in a nutshell. Nicole talked about her dream involving Derek and his wife. I was just like, Nicole, no, I'm good, no. Paulie has been sharing the HOH bed with Paul so that he can stop Davon from having late night chats with Paul and changing his mind. That whole fight between Zakiya and Paulie happened basically because Paulie wants to cut ties with Zakiya and he wants a reason to 86 her. And some people probably looked at that fight between Paulie and Zakiya and that scene where Zakiya was running up the steps to see what was going on with Paulie and to see if he was really in bed with Paul. I think that's what she was doing. When she opened up the door, then she ran off. But really, don't be fooled by that edit. Paulie talks to her like a dog and he treats her like crap. And yeah, she does go back to him. And I really think it's because not only does she like him, but also because she's afraid regarding her position in the game and feels like, if you remember how the girls felt with that whole Frank situation, that if they speak up about it too much or do anything to retaliate, they'll be put out of the game. But don't be fooled by the edit. Zakiya's not desperate, and she's definitely not acting crazy. Michelle starts crying because she threw an apple at Paul, and Paul was just livid. It really wasn't that serious. I'm not sure why Michelle cried. I was just like, why is Michelle crying? I heard about the situation on the feeds this weekend, and I was just like, what the heck is going on with Michelle? But anyway, as far as the picking of the veto players, Paul picked Corey, Paulie picked Victor, and Bridget picked Natalie, and Davon felt like she could relax because she wasn't picked to play in the veto finally, so she could chill, but that was not a good thing at all. And it was crazy how Paul looked at her when she rejoiced about being happy that she could chill out. Day comes up to the HOH room and tries to get the boys to put up Nicole in the place of Paulie when he wins the veto, or Bridget when she wins the veto, to get her out of the house. And then Paulie runs and tells on Day to Nicole, and Nicole's like, let's send her home. Let's kick her out. He. And for those of you that don't watch the feeds, Nicole is the next target because Corey keeps talking about getting rid of her. In fact, while the episode was airing, he mentioned something about getting rid of her. So if Zakiya doesn't go next week, Nicole might be the next one put up on the block. Zakiya knew about the whole backdooring Davon situation. Pretty much everybody caught wind of that but Davon, and no one told Davon other than Paul, who did so indirectly. But Zakiya tried to tell, but before I get to what Zakiya tried to tell Paul, note that Zakiya learned that information about the backdoor thing with Davon, and when Paulie told her to go to bed and don't get in the way, she went right to bed and had a conversation with Davon right after that and still didn't mention what was going on. And some people say, well, maybe she's scared. No, I think she should have warned Davon, I heard something. I heard that you might be backdoored, so that she could have prepared herself even more for this. But given what I've seen on the feeds for the past couple days, Davon's fighting. She's fighting very, very hard. Now, Zakiya tried to warn Paulie about Paul, saying how at this point he could easily win. He's moved up from the bottom to the top. And Paulie runs to Paul, his twin, and tells him everything that Zakiya told him. Next thing you know, the guys are calling Zakiya a scammer. So when Paul makes it to the final 3 and Paulie's not there and Victor's not there and Corey's not there, but particularly if Paulie is not there, Zakiya tried to warn him. So Paul hints to Davon that she will be nominated, or as a replacement nominee, when Paulie takes himself down after he won the veto. And Day said she really doesn't want to go on the block because she's a big target. And I guess she feels like, obviously, if she's on the block, she has the biggest chance of going home next to Bridget. So she tries to bring up how Nicole volunteered to go on the block and hears nothing but crickets. So clearly, if she had, which she probably did, any suspicion that these guys were going to nominate her, that conversation with Paul sealed the deal. So Paulie obviously uses the veto to save himself. Day's the replacement nominee. Paul could care less who goes home, to be honest. Bridget is still on this whole, I think this in fact was when she revealed she had her hit list. And Day makes a comment, keep your hugs, and vote Bridget out. Well, folks, that's about it. I don't have any predictions for tonight because I feel like tomorrow's episode is going to be a very memorable one. But I will say this. I will definitely be watching the feeds tomorrow all the way up until they go dark for the live episode, because usually those conversations will tell me who is going home, because at this point it seems like Davon is in trouble, but you never know. You never know. But let me know what you thought of this episode, the season so far, and who you predict will go home and who you predict will win HOH and who they will nominate. But anyway, I love you all. Take care. Bye, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.